What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Equilibrium podcast. This is episode 3. Honestly, feels kind of crazy that we're already 3 episodes in. We've been doing this for
Yeah, I know.
3 weeks now. It feels like it was yesterday where we
Mhm.
we started our first episode. We got a good episode today. I think you guys will really like this episode today. A lot of stuff has happened with the Redskins, etc. So this episode's more about sports. This episode, like we said. So before we get started, you can find us on pretty much every platform. I still need to create a Twitter account, so I'll do that sometime this weekend. But you can find us on Spotify. Just search the Equilibrium podcast, find our logo or our profile picture, or whatever it's called. And you can search us on YouTube. You can search us on TikTok if you want to watch clips. You can search us on Instagram if you want to watch clips too. And Apple Podcasts. So that's the main stuff we're on. We'll be on Twitter soon, and we'll tweet out when when everything's posted and stuff. Other than that, in the YouTube descriptions of the videos of the podcasts episodes and the about page will be all links for everything. I'll put that in sometime today or tomorrow. So that's pretty much how you find us. You can find us everywhere. So yeah, might as well get right into the topics.
Oh, let's do it.
So
So you want to start with the Redskins?
yeah, let's start with the Redskins, which is start with the
We can
name
get
change and
yeah.
the,
Let's talk about the name
and the
change
logo
first.
change. So that the Redskins has been like an ethnic slur for a really long time now, and just now they're starting to do a name change and a logo change.
Mm-hmm.
And what they want their name change to be is they want it to be a mix between like showing honor to the military, and they want and Native Americans. So what do you think about this name change and logo change and all that that's happening?
The name needed to be changed. When you have a group of people telling you, "Hey, this word, the slur offends me," the name should have been changed
They've
years
literally
ago,
been saying it's been an ethnic slur for years.
and
They've done nothing about it.
they've ignored it because they've wanted to hold on to whatever traditions that the teams had, but you can hold on to traditions without taken away from entire people, especially Native Americans that went through what they went through when settlers came to this country. They totally decimated their population and are forced to live amongst themselves on reservations. So the least they could do was to change the name. Some of the name ideas out there I do like, actually. A name that I've seen thrown around is the Red Wolves. Nothing to do with like the military or anything like that, but I saw like the Red Wolves name and like a jersey concept. It looks really cool, and the name like rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
My favorite suggestion though that I've heard so far was the Washington Redtails, kind of paying homage to the Tuskegee Airmen that fought in World War II.
Yeah.
It was a fleet of black pilots that were pretty successful, and their planes were marked by a red tail. So that'd be pretty cool, especially like what is going on right now, everything that's happening in this country right now, paying homage to not only a military fleet, but a black military fleet would be it would be very symbolic.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word meaningful because they could name themselves like anything they want.
Yeah.
They have to show action towards equality and stuff like that, though. But paying homage to those men, to that fleet, would be very symbolic, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they will do something like that. They've already come out and said that they want the name to bring honor and to both the military and Native Americans. So I think we'll get that. It's about time they changed it. Like it should have been changed ages ago. So
Yeah.
it sucks that it took what's happening in the world now for them to be like, okay, maybe it's time to change it. So at least we got there in the end with the name change and stuff. But this should have happened ages ago. It's not like
it's just they're just stubborn. They were just holding on to that. You can hold on to your history. You can still celebrate the history, and this team should be a little more sensitive to race and racial issues and racial epithets. Maybe more so than any team in the league, because the Redskins had the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and Doug Williams. So they should know like about all these stigmas and all these epithets and how they can affect people. Because when you have the first black quarterback winning the Super Bowl, race is going to be talked about.
Yeah.
So you got to be more sensitive to something like that, But let's move on to the juicy stuff. The Redskins, no longer the Redskins. I should say the NFL team in Washington.
They've been in the news quite a lot.
They just got accused by several women of sexual misconduct. 15 women?
15 cheerleaders, I believe.
I'm just going to read off what they're accused of, and we'll talk about it. So these allegations accuse owner Dan Snyder of abusing drugs and alcohol, paying off officials to officiate games in their favor. Allegedly, then coach Jay Gruden, brother John Gruden, and Dan Snyder held cheerleaders' passports.
Yeah, that was on a 2013 trip to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
They held their passports when they got into the country, and then they had to pose nude for a photo shoot with a bunch of spectators watching.
Yeah, the spectators were season ticket holders.
Yeah.
So if you were at every game, for the Redskins that year, you got a little show too. They must have really. Man, that's crazy.
And then they had to be personal escorts at a nightclub that night.
Yeah. They held sex parties with rampant drug usage and sexual assaults. Man, this doesn't even seem like realistic. I guess Jay Gruden benched like one of the running backs because they were sleeping with the same girl or something like that. Oh no, man! This this franchise is a mess. It's probably the worst franchise in like the league. They don't handle anything right.
Such a mess right now.
And even though this is like kind of unbelievable, it is believable because it's Washington.
Not surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were more organizations that did this kind of stuff.
It kind of reminds me of the thing that happened in Louisville, college basketball with Rick Pitino, where I guess Rick Pitino wasn't the one hiring strippers and prostitutes and stuff, but people on his staff were, and they would bring in recruits and to attract them to the school, they were having the recruits go to these parties with these strippers and these prostitutes, and you could fill in the rest, but
it's so messed up.
No wonder Louisville was so good for a little bit.
Yeah.
because people were going there because they gave them incentive.
So what do you think should happen to the Redskins now with all this news? Obviously, there's got to be a proper investigation and stuff that's got to happen. But let's say that, the investigation happens, they find out that all this stuff did occur. What do you think should happen to the...
Dan Snyder should be forced to sell the team.
Yeah. I think
it's
that
plain and simple.
Yeah.
He should be forced to sell the team because the team has fallen short on too many issues. The NBA did it with Donald Sterling, with the Clippers.
And
they should force him to sell the team.
And it all starts from the top. The team's gonna act like how the top person acts.
Yeah. So this is his fault. He's trying to distance himself. I saw that he put out a statement. I didn't read through a full statement, but from what I got out of it, he's trying to distance himself from it by saying, "Oh, that kind of culture doesn't belong in this organization." Well, the culture is established by somebody, and that somebody's at the top, the owner.
Yeah.
So, and he's being accused of these things. He's being accused of paying off referees. He's being accused of holding cheerleaders' passports and having them dance for season ticket holders and abusing drugs and alcohol. If you're accused of these things, it's pretty hard to come back from. So I think it's time to sell the team. The team needs new leadership anyway. The team sucks. I mean, it's great for the Philly fans here because Washington is never going to be a threat.
They're never going to be good. So,
but how could you pay off referees?
Yeah, and still
suck. Still suck. Like what? Come on, man. They're not even good at that. They're not good at cheating. It's time to sell the team, man.
Time to sell the team, 100%. Time for him to leave, get new owners in, get new owners that are gonna represent what's right, and hopefully we see a change, and hopefully the name and logo change is the start of things to come. But obviously the scandal came out after the name change.
Yeah.
So just
it's a lot. They're getting hit by a lot of stuff, a lot of negativity right now. But the name change is a chance for a clean slate. Like it's a chance to start off fresh. So that'll be good for them. We'll see how they move going forward.
So we'll see what happens with the the team in Washington, as we'll call them now. I guess we'll see what happens with them. I'm really interested to see what happens with this whole scandal and whether Dan Snyder will, step down or well. If I was, I guess I can't say because I'm not a owner of it.
Is that why Jay Gruden was the coach for so long? Because he should have gotten fired after 2 years. He was probably in there man, if you fire me, I'm snitching.
Yeah, I'm just snitching. Yeah. Yeah, I'm snitching like that.
Coach.
That snitch line like the NBA.
Like the NBA, right? Nah, because wasn't Jay Gruden coach? He was coach. I think last year he got fired. Last year, beginning of last year, they had an interim coach or something.
I forget.
He was there for a long time.
He was there for a little bit, so
that must have been why.
It must have been why. Yeah, they kept him on board for something, and now we know why. The truth comes out.
Yeah, I know. He was definitely about to blow up the whole thing. Let's move on to the NBA. We want to talk sports because we kind of lost track of time in the past two episodes. So we want to make sure we hit on sports because we want to talk about that.
You want to talk about sports
too. NBA teams arrive in Orlando. They're starting to practice. The season's about to kick off in less than 2 weeks. Joel Embiid, who is our center here in Philly for 76ers, he's expressed a level of uncomfortableness in regards to being there in the bubble because he doesn't trust the other players. Would you trust players if you were Joel Embiid? Would you trust players to stay in that bubble, not invite anybody, not invite any of the crew, any of the squad, no girls, no nothing?
If I was Joel Embiid, I would not trust anyone because I completely guarantee that there will be players inviting other people to their hotel rooms, to anywhere to go out with them and stuff.
Mm.
I completely agree with Joel Embiid on that front. It's just our human nature to not be locked up in a bubble for that long without having human interaction with other people. So I see people not respecting the guidelines and stuff and trying pretty much whatever way they can to kind of sneak past it.
Is he right? Yeah. Should he be complaining about it? In my opinion, no. It's $1 billion bubble. You're getting everything you need right there.
You're getting the best. You're getting the best healthcare. You're getting the best.
Exactly.
Everything, like the way they do it, like they have to like scan their stuff, like their wrists and stuff, and they got wristbands. Like
he's totally right because
totally
look at society.
Right.
Look at society. We've told people to stay inside in quarantine, and they can't do it. They literally can't do it. You can't trust people to do the right thing. He's right, but I wouldn't be openly complaining about it to ESPN when the bubble is supposed to be like the safest place like in the United States, like outside the White House, probably.
It pretty much is the safest place in the United States. Like we as people every day, go and like have more interactions with potentially COVID people or whatever than they were.
Yeah, because we're going to the grocery store.
But then they were having the bubble. Like they don't have to go to the grocery store or anything like that. They don't have to step outside or anything like that. They just have to go to practice and play games.
Exactly. And make money.
Make millions. So
they invented the snitch line for Joel Embiid.
Yeah, so
because he's talented.
It's going to be run by Chris Paul, probably.
The
most notorious snitch.
Oh man, that's a different story for a different day.
What do you think about that snitch line?
The snitch line.
I think it's actually gonna. Is it like actually a thing that's happening, or is it just like?
No, it's a thing. There's a number that they can call there's a number that they can call to
snitch.
Probably that's probably the number. But there's a number that they can call to tell on another player that has violated the rules. Players have come out and said that they're not going to use that line. Yeah. They've said, I know John Morant was like, I don't see anything, I don't hear anything. Yeah. Like out of sight, out of mind.
If you saw someone disobeying the rules, would you call that line?
I would talk to the player first.
Yeah.
I would talk to him first. I would try to gauge like how much contact he had. I mean, it doesn't matter anyway because you could contact one person. If it's the right person with the disease that is positive, you got it, or you can potentially pass that on to somebody else. So, I mean, I would talk to them first, but I would have to report it because this whole thing is about not wanting to bring it back to your family, not wanting to get sick, not wanting to spread it. You know, some of these coaches, like Greg Popovich, what is he in his like 70s? So if he gets the virus, you don't know how much damage that could do to him.
Be able to handle it.
So
I think it's good to have a conversation with the other players, and then like with the cancel culture last week, if they have repeated offenses of something, that's when you got to start, taking a little bit of action.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wonder if it will get used. I'm sure it will get used a few times. They will have little articles about people calling the hotline and everything. So like it's bound to for someone, multiple people to break whatever laws that are set in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
It's just human nature being, it's just human nature.
I don't think you could have a strike system with this though.
Strikes.
You can't say, oh, you get 3 strikes because one interaction.
So imagine if LeBron James got 3 strikes. Would you tell him to leave Orlando?
Yeah, no, I mean he probably has a longer leash than anybody. Like if LeBron has his own, he's probably got his own house.
He has his own bubble.
Yeah, he's got a bubble within the bubble because he's literally he's the NBA. He's the face of the league. They're gonna protect him at all. So, if he's sick,
you're allowed to do whatever you want.
If he's sick, this whole thing is not happening.
It's true.
They're not doing it.
Him, any of the big superstars, probably.
Nah, just him, man.
Just him?
I think just him.
You're saying if let's say Giannis got coronavirus, couldn't play, you don't?
Nah, I think they're still, if LeBron is healthy,
it's a good point. Russell Westbrook actually tested positive for the
COVID. Yeah, I mean, nobody cares about
Russell Westbrook. And
I mean this, like, I care about Russ, but he's the most disrespected player in the league. He got it, and like people are like, all right, like after Rockets anyway. Like, yeah. People don't care about Russ like that, man. He's the most disrespected player in the league. The Rockets are gonna suffer for it though, if he can't play at the start at the start of the playoffs.
When did they say that? How long has he had it for? I guess I don't know. But
he's not in the bubble yet.
Yeah,
and he has it, so he has to quarantine for 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
and then when he shows up to the bubble, he has to quarantine for another 2 weeks. So he can't play for at least a month.
July 31st, right? Or July 30th. I think they pushed it back up 1 day for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then, playoffs are supposed to start September-ish? Or end of
playoffs? No. They're supposed to start end of August.
End of August.
Because they're supposed to get, I think, 7
or 8
games, 7 or 8 games,
7 or 8 regular season games to decide the standings, and then they're doing the playoffs, and I think they're playing like every day in the playoffs too, which I am excited for. Not gonna lie.
Nah, I'm hyped for this. Like I miss sport. I miss a major sport.
Like March Madness for the NBA in July, August, and September. Because it's gonna be
no fans, but
like I feel like if one sport can pull it off without fans, it's basketball. It's just gonna be like a pickup game. Like it's gonna be, and like I've been watching soccer and UFC without fans, and like it sucks without fans. Like it's nice to have fans there. Like teams play differently with fans and stuff, but like it's cool to like hear like all like the players like voices, and like kind of like hearing like the tactics and stuff. And so, like, cool. Like in UFC, like during the fights, you like really hear like the teams like corner, and it's like it's really interesting. I'm like really interested to see what
you can hear the hits.
You can hear the hits, like
you can hear the contact. You can hear somebody getting their jaw broken. It's I mean, I guess for me, basketball needs fans, especially playoff basketball.
Yeah, every sport needs fans, but I think they'll do it. They'll do, knowing like the commercial output and like the way the US does sporting events is gonna be a crazy show that they'll put on for those few months.
I hope they present it well.
I think
that's the thing that has to be right. They got to present it the right way.
Yeah.
If it's, I mean, some of these teams, if you watch a Hornets game, They don't have fans anyway, so
Yeah, get used to it. Yeah.
it's not gonna be different. It's like the Sixers between 2010 and
Like
what, like 2014, 2015.
Manchester City now, they don't have any fans.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be any different for a lot of these teams. Are the New York Knicks there? I mean, I guess the Knicks still have fans. They just suck.
suck.
So, yeah. Speaking of the Knicks, Charles Barkley said something pretty interesting this week in regards to how legit the championship is this year.
Yeah.
He said that if everyone's healthy, everyone's starting from the same level. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's got the same firepower.
Yeah.
Then it's legit.
Throughout the whole thing.
Throughout the whole thing. But if LeBron gets sick and has to miss 2 weeks and he misses like 3 playoff games.
The thing with US sports and sports in Europe.
Yeah.
Sports in Europe, they have a league table and they don't go into playoffs. So in Liverpool's case, they're already 20 points above Man City. So but with the US sports, they play for standings and then they go into playoffs, which is just a whole different dynamic about how you perceive if this is legit or not. Like I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm a bit biased. So no one's taking away Liverpool's title because it's a 38 game season. There's no playoffs after that. Like other teams sucked for the first 28 games. So so it's just a whole different dynamic with playoffs and stuff. So it's interesting to see if one star goes down, how the fan base will perceive the legitimacy of the NBA this season.
The playoff system works for certain sports.
Playoff system definitely works for the NBA and pretty much all these US sports. Playoff system is like.
I would say that they could use a table system too, because even with the playoff system, the best team usually still wins.
Usually, yeah. Usually, definitely in the NBA Finals, yeah.
Usually, with the exception of maybe like the last time, like the best team didn't win, in my opinion, the Raptors. Before that, but that was due to injury though. So I'm not counting the Raptors.
No, dude,
that was due to injury.
Due to LeBron.
I would say the Mavericks when the Mavs won in 2011. I just think the Heat had a bad stretch of games.
Yeah, the Heat were the best team in the NBA.
But they had the best team. They just had a bad stretch of games. But that's the thing about the playoffs is that it makes you like you can't afford to have a bad game.
Playoff basketball is the most exciting thing. Like a game 7 in playoff basketball is like the most exciting thing I've ever seen. Like that.
For me, it's the NFL's conference championship week, playing to get into the Super Bowl.
That's exciting too.
Because those games are always close.
Yeah. It's the only thing. The only thing with the NFL for me, and between that just separates the NBA from the NFL, is just the NBA just seems so it's like that, like it's just constant, just
constant action.
Yeah, that's why pretty much every weekend, except for an Eagles game, that's the only game I'll watch fully, team. I'd put just Red Zone on, So it feels like that constant action, except for obviously playoff games. I watch the whole game and stuff.
The NFL feels like a reality show to me.
Yeah.
It feels so playoff football is dramatic. It's very dramatic. Stuff comes down to the last drive.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There are some crazy dramatic games in NFL.
I'm a Patriots fan. I mean, I haven't said that on this podcast. I'm saying it now. Y'all could hate me if you want.
Yeah, from Philly, and he's a Patriots fan, doesn't?
I mean, I can explain my ties, but I'm a Patriots fan. So I've had a lot of good drama over the years. Like some of the best moments a fan could have, I've had.
Yeah.
Like I've had the drive down the field to kick the field
Game.
goal.
Yeah.
I've had the interception at the goal line. I've had so many like good moments. I've had teams like miss their field goal and like we go to the Super Bowl. I've also had like stuff go against us too, like Eli, every time.
Yeah.
So it's just dramatic. I just like the drama and the suspense. Where in the NBA, you get the drama, but you don't get the suspense. Like I guess you do. Like I guess the last suspenseful like shot that I can remember was the Kyrie shot. The Kawhi thing, I guess I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I wasn't expecting. Yeah, the Kyrie shot against
the Kyrie thing. He was like he was sitting there. He was dribbling. Like I was like, like what's about to happen?
7 NBA finals.
Exactly. Like Kawhi, I just thought like Kawhi just threw. He just threw the ball up. He was just like, I'm gonna throw this up. If it goes in, nah. If it doesn't, we're going to overtime. So.
Sixers probably would have won that year if they won that game. They would have beaten the Bucks.
They would have beaten the Warriors. They would have beat the Bucks and they would have beaten the Warriors.
Yeah.
Sixers
is another story because Brett Brown.
Yeah, because I got a lot to say about them.
I got a lot to say about Brett Brown and how he shouldn't be coach of the Sixers. But that's for a different time.
He keeps getting I'm not gonna get into it, but he keeps getting lucky because he gets these like things that happen.
Yeah, coronavirus and stuff.
Gives him a chance. Stuff where he could say like, "Oh, you can't fire me." Like,
yeah,
Corona happened. How can you fire me?
Coronavirus. Yeah, you can't fire me. Like,
yeah. So he just gets lucky.
Yeah, for real. So what do you have what do you have to say about people who want to sit out due to coronavirus or racial injustice?
The people that want to sit out due to coronavirus have every right to do so. I've heard people saying, "Oh, well, they're making millions of dollars. Like, they should just go out and play." Well, a millionaire could get sick and die too.
Yeah.
So, like, if they feel like they're in danger, if they have a pre-existing condition, if they have a child or a parent or a spouse with pre-existing conditions that could be affected by this.
A good story about Troy Deeney, who's plays for Watford football club in Premier League. His kid who's very young, has like underlying health issues. Mm-hmm. So he was very out against like the season starting back up and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So he's playing now, but obviously taking it very carefully and stuff. But I have no problem with people wanting to sit out due to coronavirus, like 100%. I guess
I am all for the idea of having to move on with our lives eventually, because we do. Mm-hmm. There's got to be a point where one of my friends, Charlie, because Philly's opening up our gyms on Monday.
Yeah, they opened up my gyms 2 weeks ago. So
he said, "Oh, like I don't know about that. Like I don't know if I'd go." And I said to him, "Bro, you're gonna have to go out eventually. Like eventually we're gonna have to get to a point."
Yeah, I'm not gonna be furloughed. I'm gonna be back in the office at work. Like eventually, the world is gonna go back to normal. It's just
exactly. Or you have to take that step towards normalcy.
Eventually, the step's gonna have to happen.
What I'm saying is, with the NBA and players wanting to sit out and people being against that, is the NBA chose the wrong time to come back. I can't believe sports is trying to come back, especially picking Florida at the time you picked it with the spikes.
Why did they pick
everything?
Is it because of the hotels and stuff? It's
because of the ESPN World of Sports thing. It's like a campus.
It's like really easy to like do, I guess.
It holds a lot of tournament style sports like cheerleading. I know like cheerleading yeah, cheerleading competitions, AAU, soccer tournaments, a lot of travel team stuff.
Yeah, I think I played a travel tournament in ESPN grounds.
Yeah, a lot of stuff goes there. So it could hold a lot of people, and it's a campus, and it's kind of secluded. But the thing is that the workers can go in and out, though. Like the workers don't have to stay on the campus, so they can go out and go get it.
They should employ workers that are a part of this bubble, pretty much.
And in terms of racial injustice, I understand why players want to sit out. I'm not knocking that mindset, because I respect it. If they want to sit out and use their voice to continue the conversation, do that. But people should know that you can also do that while playing too.
Yeah, knowing you, if you were in the NBA, you wouldn't sit out.
Yeah, I wouldn't sit out. I would play, and I would make sure while I'm playing, you're gonna still acknowledge Breonna Taylor, and that her killers are still out there. You're still gonna acknowledge George Floyd. You're gonna acknowledge Trayvon Martin. You're gonna acknowledge Tamir Rice. You're gonna acknowledge all these things while I'm playing, because I'm gonna put it in your face.
Yeah.
You're gonna tune in because you have nothing to watch. You have to see me.
You have to see,
because you don't have a choice. So either don't watch the NBA and stay bored and stay miserable, or watch the NBA and see me spreading my message. I saw there was a player, I'm blanking on his name. His last name's Grant. He used to play for the Sixers. Then he got traded to the Thunder. He's playing, but he's deciding that if they choose to interview him, he's not going to talk about the game. Yeah. He's going to talk about Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
Until something happens. So that's a form of protest. Players are deciding to either put a message on the back of their jersey or not. For me, that doesn't really do anything. I don't know. Yeah. I agree with LeBron on that front, where he's like, I'm not putting a phrase on the back of my jersey because it's not a form of action.
Well, let me pick what phrase I want on the back of my jersey.
Yeah. Well, the NBA gives you a list. You have to pick from that list of approved sayings. For me, the name on the back of my jersey, my last name means a lot more.
Yeah.
So you fight to get to that point where you can put your last name on the back.
There's a lot of ways to show support for stuff, and doesn't need to be a name on the back of the jersey or anything.
Exactly.
It doesn't need to be a saying on the back of the jersey.
I like Jimmy Butler's thing. He's not putting anything on the back of his jersey. Like, not his name, not a phrase. Yeah. I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
I like that. I like what he's trying to do. I get what he's trying to do.
I love Jimmy Butler.
I think both philosophies are right in their own way. If you want to sit out and you want to continue to go out, protest, use your voice,
by all means do that. If you want to play, then play. I just hope that when you play, that you try and convey a message when you play.
And put your money where your mouth is. Yeah. Use that money. If you are legitimately concerned and want to make an impact and want to be want to do something of substance, donate the money that you're gonna make from these 8 weeks, 10 weeks. Donate the money to BLM or causes that can uplift our communities. A couple $1 million donation here in Philly, a couple blocks from where I live, over in North Philly, could work wonders. They need it. So put your money where your mouth is. That's another way. That's another way of helping.
Yeah.
You know, go make that money. Go make your millions of dollars. If you don't have to donate all of it, but send a nice chunk of change their way down here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one thing they can do. Like they should. I think that's why I lean towards that plan, because you can make an impact financially.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying words, you're making an impact. You're actually putting yourself into action. So I think they should do that.
I hope the NBA puts on a good show for multiple reasons. I hope it's good basketball, but I hope that they really show like some light in this whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they spread a good message. I really hope that they get that right, and I think they will. So let's see.
I have to ask you a question that I just thought of. Knowing you, I know that you wouldn't be uncomfortable with the mixing of sports and the racial injustice and protesting. But why do white people feel so uncomfortable when these things are brought up in a sporting arena? And that in the area of sports, they say, I don't want to see that when I'm watching this. If I wanted to see this, I would turn to CNN or Fox. Why is it that a lot of white people have that mindset?
We just hate we hate the norm. I guess I don't know if the norm's the right word. But we hate when something different in the world is happening. I know you told me about when your friend was talking to you yesterday about how like white people like are scared that, like about like black people, and how like they're becoming like I don't know a right way to put this, but like what did your friend tell you? You know what I mean? You talked about this yesterday.
We are threatening their dominance.
Yeah. So that's what I feel like is happening. Obviously, I don't agree with that one bit. Like I want that to be a message portrayed during this NBA when they play and stuff. I just think that a lot of them are scared, and it's just stupid, and they should they shouldn't be. It's time for change. Like come on now.
Why does that? Why would it bother anyone?
Yeah, like why would it bother anyone?
We know the answer. We know why, but why though?
Like come on.
Like you said, it disrupts the status quo. People would rather not deal with than deal with.
Probably people just want to watch sports and not. I guess I don't know if sports are a way to get away what's happening in the world, and that's why they don't want to see it happen, creep into sports. They just they have the sports as like a scapegoat to a lot of stuff, and but it's time for sports become because I mean, what do 90% of the people in the world do? When they come home from work, or even at work sometimes, what do? They watch sports. Or us men, definitely. I've played sports my whole life. I'm not trying to say women don't watch sports, but us, I pretty much have a Liverpool game if that's Liverpool play at 2:45 sometimes in the US, and I'm at work too. I put that on my phone at work. I will come home from work, fire up the NBA or NFL to watch some night sports and stuff like that. Like that's what a majority of us as people do. So I think this is why the message needs to be in sports too.
Ethan, who's the majority of those people play? Who are the majority of those people playing in those two leagues you just mentioned?
White people.
No, the majority of the players in the NFL play.
In the NFL, yeah. Okay, black people.
White people. Yeah. In the NBA.
Black people.
Black people. So you're asking the people being affected by these social things happening when they get off the field to shut up when they're on the field and just
it doesn't make
it.
sense, does it? Yeah.
Like, what do you like? You're telling people when and where
When and where
to feel a certain type of way. Malcolm Jenkins said it a couple weeks ago to Drew Brees. He was like, so Drew, like, you're telling me like I shouldn't feel that way here. It's not the right time here. You should feel that way later or when you get home. Feel that way. Talk about that stuff. No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Not when not 99%, but you know what I'm saying. Like 90% of the league is black.
Yeah. You can't say that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not. You can't ask these players.
Yeah, you
that
can't
have
tell them
to take the helmet off and deal with cops.
You can't tell the players when to shut up and dribble, like that one reporter said to
exactly
LeBron James.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you that because I wanted to get it from the white perspective of why people get so upset when they see these things.
It doesn't make sense to me, like. But hopefully this is the start of a change, like we've already seen in sports that are going on right now. The message that they're trying to portray, and I think we'll see that even more when the NBA starts back up. Right, so moving past all this stuff about racism and coronavirus, who do you think is the dark horses of the NBA, and who do you think is going to win?
My dark horse. I mean, do the Sixers count as a dark horse?
I mean, they were in the 7th seed or 6th seed, something like that, right?
Yeah, but I guess people had high expectations.
The squad is loaded.
Yeah.
Honestly.
People had high expectations for them. So I don't know if I would call them a dark horse. I mean, I guess they're a dark horse now.
Yeah.
After the performance they had this season. So I guess they would be my dark horse.
It's interesting with the Sixers because they had the best home record in the NBA, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And a terrible.
The worst road.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting without fans for the Sixers, like how they'll play like home or away or whatnot.
Yeah.
And Brett Brown's just a different story. He shouldn't be coach.
I mean, he just made a move with Ben, so
to the 4, which needed to happen 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, that was Markelle Fultz's fault.
Fuck that.
He should have been playing point guard. My biggest threat is the Lakers, honestly.
You think
you look at the roster. The roster is ridiculous.
They're better than the Clippers?
The roster is ridiculous. They got LeBron, Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard's playing good. McGee's playing well. They got J.R. Smith. They got Kyle Kuzma. They got but he's trash in the role they had him in. If you take him off the bench, I think he'll play like how you want him to.
Yeah.
They just got they got too much.
I think whoever wins between the Lakers and Clippers is going to win the championship. I just don't see Giannis winning with the Bucks. I just don't see the Bucks winning. They're a good regular season team. That's
the Sixers. I think the Sixers got them. I think the Sixers could beat them in a 7-game.
I can see that. Sixers match up well to the Bucks.
Yeah. I think they could beat them. I don't see the Bucks. I think the Bucks need a little more. I don't think Chris Middleton is enough, and Brogdon is enough.
When it comes to playoffs, it's a whole different game than regular season. And just not fit for playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll put it like this: Sixers versus Bucks. If I take the two big threes, so Giannis, Brogdon, and Middleton. I would take the Sixers' big three of Tobias, Ben, and Embiid over the Bucks. And then the other two players on the court, the Sixers have the advantage there because they have Josh Richardson.
Mm-hmm. And
Over who does the Bucks have? George Hill, and I forget who else is on the court.
Yeah. And then you got
So
the Raptors, which they're not going to do anything, let's be honest. And then you got the Celtics, which is so up in the air about what they're going to do. Yeah.
They're not doing anything. Cantor would get trashed by Embiid. They're not doing it. And then like who you matching?
And the Sixers have Al coming off the bench too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Al Horford.
So yeah, the Sixers are set up to make a run. Just whether Brett Brown is honestly is good enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
I think they can win it. Honestly, I really do think they can win it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting
because
if it comes out the East. I
think the West is gonna beat each other up more. On the way there.
What two teams will probably be in like the conference final. I think it'll probably be
for the East.
For the West.
For the West, I gotta see the seeding.
I think what is it? Like, Lakers are 1, right? And yeah, I got to see the seeding. I think like all I know is like the Mavs are like 7th or something like that, and I'm excited to see Luka play. Actually, Luka's a beast.
They're not gonna win a series, but they'll
get it to a game 6, game 7.
Exactly, which will tire out a team.
Yeah,
they're gonna be tough to get through.
Yeah, they're gonna be tough to get through. All right, so that's the NBA.
NBA.
Already 53-ish minutes in.
I told you, man. As soon as we get to so we usually have our outline out in front of us.
Yeah.
And we get to about
we're right
halfway.
Here right now where my finger is.
Every time we get to that point, we're always like an hour in. No matter what we do.
That's amazing.
So,
all right. So to continue the topic of racism, Wilfred Zaha, who's a Premier League soccer player, who plays for Crystal Palace, before his game last week against Aston Villa, I believe, he received DMs from another. At the time, they didn't know how old the kid was, but the kid was 12 years old, and the DMs are absolutely horrendous. Yeah. And did you looked at the DMs, right?
Yep.
So pretty much what he said was, "You better not score, you black C word, or I'll come to your house dressed as a ghost." And then he sent a picture of like a Kellogg's cornflakes like box, and it said Kellogg's Coonflakes. And then he said, and then he sent a picture of people dressed as the KKK. After that, and like, I'm just wondering, like, at 12 years old, like, you don't just think about that stuff at 12 years old. That comes from somewhere. That comes from either the family or the friends you're hanging out with.
Yeah, his family. That's who I blame for it. Those things are learned, like you said, and it comes from the parenting.
Yeah. So yeah, this
anytime I hear those things coming from a little kid, I automatically go to the parents.
Yeah, the parenting, yeah. And there's like this whole argument about, oh, you don't know what your kid's doing these days. A kid is just not racist like that at 12 years old. Like,
no,
that comes from somewhere. So a 12-year-old did get arrested. So but I thoroughly believe that the parents
arrested, and then like what happens to him?
I guess what he goes to like juvenile detention or something like that. I don't know. Not really too sure like what you do with a 12-year-old.
How racist is Britain?
It's pretty pretty racist.
Mm.
The worst country in the world for racism is Italy.
Italy? Why do you say that?
Because Italy has the oldest like population in Europe of old white males, and it is just notorious for racism. Like they've had so much racist like stuff happen in soccer games and stuff like over there, like people throwing like bananas and stuff and like stuff like that, like the racist towards people of their own country who are black. Like Balotelli has received endless amounts of racism from their own country. It's crazy. Like they have to have fans like play like games behind closed doors because of racism in Italy. It's just really bad. But yeah, England's, I mean, it's like everywhere. It's like, here right now, like it's just like everywhere there's still just racism and stuff like that.
So I feel like is it like a systemic issue in England? Like, are people being held back because of it? Are people not getting opportunities because of it? Or
I'm not too sure. I mean, but I would assume that it's the same out here, like the same as here. I haven't lived in England for 10 years or so, and I moved when I moved when I was young, so I didn't like when I was 12,
it's not like you weren't thinking about those things.
When I was 12, I wasn't even thinking about like any of that stuff. Like I was playing Call of Duty World at War. Just minding my like own business, and then for like there has to be something really messed up with the parenting and the education system for a 12-year-old to even think about that stuff.
I was gonna read some of these DMs. I mean, you ended up doing it, but I saw another one for this one player. His name is David McGoldrich. He's another black player. I don't know what team he plays for though. But, this DM I'm reading right now is like it's
terrible, right?
I don't want to say it over.
But if you want to
over the air,
just look up the DM. Like, we said what the Zaha one said because we needed to bring light to that 12-year-old. But these it's like I just can't get it past my head like a 12-year-old even thinking about that stuff.
It's bringing light to his parents.
Yeah.
More so. Because these things are taught. These things are taught in the house.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Like when you like, how is it like when you guys are having your conversations as a family? Like, how is this discussed? Like racism, like race in general.
It's just we're shocked that it's still going on.
Yeah.
We're shocked that people are still like have it out against other people, are still living in the like this like 200 years ago. It's crazy. And it's like and it's just, it all starts from the top, like with everything. It all starts with the top. It starts with those parents of that kid, and then it goes on to the kid. So hopefully he's 12 years old, so hopefully he realizes that you made a big mistake, and he changes and tries to be a better person. But I think something needs to happen to his parents. So
I will say, like, if you had like you as someone having your mindset, somebody who has the right mindset about it, if you have friends, like, and I'm telling this like anyone, any of my like white friends, if you have friends or family that like say stuff like that behind closed doors, and those conversations probably have had happen because I mean, things are said amongst Black people behind closed doors. It is your job to dismiss. You got to dismiss those things, man. You got to call that out. Like this little kid probably has friends that like he's saying this.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Who cares if he's 12? He would have called that shit out.
Yeah, exactly. Don't allow this stuff to be. You gotta don't just call it out and say, oh, don't say that.
Yeah.
Tell them why you shouldn't say it. Like, go into it.
Yeah.
Have a conversation about it. Yeah,
So,
man, that's unfortunate, but I'm glad that he decided to expose that, because then people could look at that kid's parents and say, like, why are you raising your kid that way?
For real. Fuck, it's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
But we really, looking at the stopwatch here, we
Mm-hmm.
really lose. We really,
yeah, I know.
Which is, we're not saying it's a bad thing. Obviously, we want to go things in depth. We're not going to just handle a topic and just talk through it for about 2 minutes and move to the next. So like I'm really glad that we don't get through most of our topics for the episode. It's like,
yeah, me too.
It means that we're discussing things how they should be discussed. So we're about an hour-ish in. I started a little late. So is there anything on the list you want to talk about and then maybe save for next
I
time?
really want to talk about what Nick Cannon said.
So you want to talk about Nick Cannon? Shall we save a coronavirus update for next week?
Yeah, I'll save the update for next week. I mean, I could give a quick
quick numbers
update on the coronavirus, COVID-19. Current numbers today, as of July 17th, 2020, 3.53 million confirmed cases in this country.
I think you said 3.1 million last week, right?
I said 3.1 last week, 3.5 this week. That is 400,000 more cases in a week, and 138,000 deaths. Next week, I'm going to go into.
We'll go in deep with this.
Because I need to talk about the leadership on this issue, because it's frustrating. And somebody with a medical, who's going into the medical field, I need to speak on this, because it's not.
Yeah, next week that will be our main topic, like the Redskins and the NBA were our main topics for this episode.
I really want to go into Nick Cannon.
So yeah, we'll do Nick Cannon. You want to do? So we got three more things. We got your car being towed.
Dang, I didn't even mention that, bro. You just put me out there.
That car got towed.
Yeah, my car. They try to take my baby.
And then we got Will Smith entanglements written down. One or two. Honestly, let's just go for them. We can spend don't need to go in depth really with Will Smith and the entanglement.
Nah, we could just we'll still mention it.
All right, so Nick Cannon, what do you got to say about Nick Cannon?
All right, so Nick Cannon made a statement on his podcast this past week in regards to the Jewish community. Mm-hmm. I think he was speaking in a sense where he was trying to explain what Deshaun Jackson was trying to say when he said what he said. And basically it boils down to this. Nick Cannon, he said that, this is my interpretation. Mm-hmm. If you want to look up you guys can go look up the clip and come up with an interpretation for yourself. But he said that white people throughout history, he didn't just leave it to the current day. Mm-hmm. Throughout history, white people have had a fear of Black people and people that just don't look like them. People that just don't look like them. We have melanin. People with melanin, they fear. Black people have he said that Black people have soul and compassion because of their melanin. Mm-hmm. He said that white people have, when you look throughout history, Europeans have dominated the world. They've taken over nations throughout the world. I think I want to explain it in a way where it's not. I want to not be offensive.
Yeah.
Because I understand what he's saying. Jewish people, in my opinion, have had they've been apologized to.
Yeah.
Like for the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they still feel sorrow and sadness over it? Can those lives be brought back? No, they can't be, and they should feel sorry and sad about that. But even though there are stereotypes and stigmas against Jewish people,
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like they're being oppressed to this current day in the same sense that we are, or to the same degree that we are.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jewish people have the luxury of blending in with every other white person or white ethno-religious group there is. Max Kellerman is a Jew.
Yeah.
Do they have this sense of world domination stuff? No, I don't think that's true. But if Max Kellerman's name comes up in a job application pile, and my name comes up for that same job, we have the same qualifications, same education level, same work experience, same everything. Max Kellerman, even though he's a Jew, will get that job over me. Yeah. They can blend in. Do we feel bad about what they had to go through? Absolutely. But I think they're mistaken when they put themselves in the exact same boat as us, because they're not in that boat. To me, they've been not fully repaid, but there's been an effort to repay Jews for what happened to them, while we're still going through what we're going through now. We still have entire neighborhoods, entire ghettos where our people are suffering. Our people don't have job opportunity. Our people don't have money. Our people are going to jail. They're not dealing with these things. There are Jewish communities that are very lavish and rich and successful. There are Jewish communities that have Jews that make a lot of money. There are Black communities like that too. I'm not saying that, but look at our communities compared to their communities.
Yeah.
So this is the sense of like victimization that they have, that they were victimized, but that's not going on to the same. It's not the same thing right now.
Yeah.
Not when you compare it to what Black people are going through right now. Or Black. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think what Nick Cannon was trying to say was, I think he probably just probably worded it wrong. Honestly, probably, which is, you got to be very careful with how you say things, especially with that audience and stuff. So I don't think he was trying to be, anti-Semitic in any way or anything like that. I don't think he's that type of person. I think he said the wrong things.
He didn't put context to what he was saying.
He didn't put context to what he said. Yeah. So he got fired from Viacom or whatever it is called, or whatever.
Viacom, CBS.
Yeah.
The parent company of CBS.
So that's what happened. That's why you got to be very careful with what you put out there. You
have to be sensitive to people's races and people's ethnicities, but you should also be able to
talk about
besides First Amendment, right?
Yeah.
And speak your truth. There's no room for bigotry. I don't think he was intending to be bigoted.
Yeah, I don't think he was intending to do that.
You got to add context when you speak on stuff like that, though. Just like I was saying with Deshaun Jackson, like you gotta be careful with that.
Anything else you want to say on?
It's just we could speak on it more.
It's a hard
because
topic to talk about.
it is a hard topic, and it's a topic we should
Don't
start
get me
with.
wrong. We don't care that it's a hard topic to talk. We will talk, like we said at the first episode. We're talking about these hard topics. We're the realest podcast out there. So follow, subscribe, and if you want to talk real shit, then listen to us. So we're not trying to avoid this conversation. We can talk about that, the whole like anti-Semitism, and next episode too. That can be like our two main topics, that and coronavirus for next episode.
We don't need to. I'll leave it at this, and then we can move on.
Okay.
We need to stop comparing struggles.
Yeah.
Why are we doing that? Why is it when people say when Black people are talking about our struggle, Jews have to say, well, we went through this. Yeah, you did go through it. Get it. It's not the same thing. It's two separate events going on. Like, it's not the same thing. Stop doing that. Stop comparing stuff. Stop. White people say all the time. White people of Irish descent say all the time, well, when Irish people came over here, we were treated like X, Y, and Z. It's not the same thing.
Not the same, no. I think that's a good place to leave it at. It's not the same thing. People go through their own struggles. So stop comparing and treat everything like it's their own.
And people are affected by it. People are affected by it on different levels.
Yeah.
There's degrees to this.
Yeah.
You can't tell us that your struggle was the same or worse than what people are going through today.
Yeah.
So it's just as simple as that, man.
Simple as that.
We'll get into it more next week. Also, I didn't get a chance to do it today because we're almost out of time. But I'm gonna take a segment of the show to talk about things
the system
that have happened. Yeah, but not just things that have happened historically to Black people. That have helped formulate where we are right now.
Yeah, maybe we should save your getting towed story for next week too.
I'll save the getting towed. We can move on to mental health after this.
What do you want to do? You want to do Will Smith this week? What do you have to? We'll do this briefly. What do you have to say?
Just briefly.
Entanglement. It's like I'm
about
to watch a Disney series called Entanglement.
First of all, I'm not going to get into it, but I know a little bit about entanglements. That kind of, I know someone who's involved in an entanglement. Just to leave it at that. So I kind of know how Will is feeling right now. He didn't deserve that, man. It's Will Smith. It's like Will Smith is an icon in American culture.
Yeah.
He's a hero to especially like Black folks. He's a hero. Like, he didn't deserve that. And I know there's been rumors of like them having like an open relationship, them being swingers or whatever. When they sat down to talk about this, he seemed pissed off. Like, he seemed like he didn't.
You could tell that he was, pulling his eyes out and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was like mad. It looked like he was crying. I think that they just did him dirty because
like, oh, we weren't anything then or anything like that.
And he's like, no, you guys were in a relationship. Just don't
open relationships shouldn't be a thing.
No, I was talking about this with my friends last night too. Like, it's not the cheating. It is the cheating, but it's not just the cheating. It's the way she went about it.
Yeah,
that is wrong. Like, they left Will out to dry. Like, Will looks like Will looks so soft.
Yeah, he looks
so stupid.
Yeah.
When August Alsina came out and said, Will gave me his blessing.
The okay. Like,
what?
No.
That makes Will look
like
terrible.
Yeah.
Like, that makes him look weak.
Yeah.
So I just don't like the way they like left him out there like that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. It's like a whole level.
Just like I said, we're running out of time, so I could have went in on it a lot deeper. But I just I feel for Will. I know a little bit about entanglements. So
let's just say, in my opinion, if you're getting into a relationship, in my opinion, why wouldn't you get into that relationship to, be with that person for the rest of your life? You know what I mean? Like,
there's got to be an end goal, right?
Relationships to be like, oh, in a couple of years we're breaking up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't have an end. You shouldn't have an end point in mind.
Yeah, you shouldn't have an end point in something like that.
Do mistakes happen? Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you that I've made mistakes. They happen. I just make sure if those mistakes do happen, that mistake never happens again after that.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be a continuation of it, it's cut off right there and then. People are going to make mistakes. You're going to make a mistake. People watching this and listening to this are going to make mistakes, but you can't make your partner look like a fool.
You can't
over an extended period of time. Like, you can't do that. It's not right.
It's not right. And see what happens with all that stuff. Will can rebound.
I don't care how bad things are going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just don't do that shit.
If things are going bad, break up.
Yeah.
Don't go talking to somebody else. Don't go sleeping with other people.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that shit. So hopefully, Will can rebound.
That's like when, like, if I'm really not feeling the situation.
Yeah.
Ethan, why are you smiling? If I'm really not feeling the situation, I gotta sit you down and tell you, hey, I'm not feeling it. If I sit you down, once, twice, 3 times, and I'm still not feeling it, I just have to break up with you. I can't go and find some girl to confide in and sleep with them.
Have an entanglement with?
If I see him hurt, it's because I am. No, that's all good, bro. Like, it's all good. I'm just saying.
Good old entanglement.
I'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
I'm done talking for the rest of the episode.
We'll leave it at that. All right.
All right.
Mental health. I was going to talk about Tyson Fury, but that will probably take up another
yeah, because he's got a story.
So we will talk about that at some point, because his story is amazing. Honestly, go on YouTube, just look up Tyson Fury and mental health and stuff like that, and you'll hear his story. It's like really, really like fascinating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to talk about instead was suicide. Suicide, I've got some stats here, was the 10th leading cause of death in the United States in 2017. And it doesn't have that much stats on suicide and mental health. I think I mentioned some of that in the last episode. But I think we all know, and everyone knows, that mental health plays a big role in suicide. And I mean, some of these stats are crazy. Suicide was the second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 and 34. There was twice as many suicides in the United States as there were homicides. It's just like the stats for suicides are absolutely like ridiculous. And I'm like looking at these stats, and I don't know, the percentage by people suffering with mental health and stuff like that, but I'm sure that it is a very significant amount of that number. And it's just like I'm just thinking about like all this stuff, and I'm thinking to myself is like like we're here to help you. Like if you have any thought, there's three like factions or sayings of suicide. So there's obviously suicide, which is self-directed behavior where you die, and then there's a suicide attempt, which is non-fatal. You're potentially you're pretty much, your goal is to die. So that's the suicide attempt. And then there's suicidal ideation, which is thinking about, considering, planning suicide. And we want to, catch people in the suicidal ideation phase and be like, it's okay. Like there's people here to support you. We're here to support you. There's hopefully your families that support you. And then if they're not there, then we're here. There's people in the world that understand what you're going through and know that you can get through this stuff. It's just the thing that bothers me about this stuff is that it's just not talked about enough, I feel like.
Like the theme of this show, which is difficult topics to talk about, it fits right into that.
Yeah. So
people don't talk about it because it's uncomfortable. It's not normal to talk about. And like I said last week, a lot of people have families where this thing is not, you don't talk about mental health.
No.
You don't talk about how you're feeling. You are left to deal with it alone, or at least that's how you feel. So if people can start going back home, and if parents can start making sure they create an environment where people can talk about these things, these thoughts, without being ostracized or ridiculed for it, then you would see a much higher rate of prevention.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Just like anything else. If you can prevent something at a high rate, the death rate for that thing is going to go down. Yeah. It's like any other disease. So a lifeline, which is 1-800-273-8255. If you are having trouble with suicidal thoughts, call that number. 1-800-273-8255.
Look up Logic. He has a song literally that has the number in its name.
Yeah. If a lifeline like that is necessary, but it's unfortunate that it even has to exist.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because your lifeline should be your family, should be your loved ones. You should be able to call them and
should be able to call them, call your friends, and have someone to talk to.
Yeah.
This section might be repetitive and stuff, but like this shit is important, and especially since we've both gone through mental health. Obviously, not to the extent I didn't have any suicidal thoughts or anything. I don't know.
Yeah, me either.
But I can. We want to spread awareness and stuff, so it's going to be repetitive, this section and stuff. But we're here to spread awareness for this whole thing. So I think once again, what is that number that they can call?
1-800-273-8255.
All right. So yeah, if you're ever feeling down, call that number, or you're having these thoughts, or call that number. Talk to us in the comment section. We're gonna provide some feedback. Listen to our podcast, and if you want, just skip to this point in the podcast where we talk about anxiety and stuff. We post clips on Instagram and post clips on TikTok and stuff until that gets taken down by the government. About all different clips. So there's never going to be a shortage of mental health on this podcast. So I just wanted to give you some statistics about suicide and all that stuff. So once again, if you're feeling about that stuff, talk to people and it'll get better. All right. So that's episode 3 in the books. 3 weeks down, many more weeks to go. That was a good episode, I thought, this week.
That was a good episode. We always have so much to talk about. We don't get to everything every day.
Yeah, when we get towards the bottom of the list, we kind of have to at least do them a little quick because we don't want to have this podcast be honestly 2 hours long. Like we gotta edit and stuff. We gotta we got other things to do in our lives.
I will say next week will be a more hard hitting podcast.
Yeah,
because I do need to talk about the Nick Cannon situation. I need to give more light on.
Yeah, the Nick Cannon situation, coronavirus, and the things that have happened in the history of.
Yeah, and I need to talk about the history. We're getting to a point where it's almost like we got a lot of things coming up. So
yeah, so
we got a ton of stuff coming up. We got a ton of stuff happening. So
there's endless amount of topics to talk about this podcast. We don't have one set topic that we're going to talk about. We're just, we pride ourselves to be on the realist podcast out there. Say that every week. We're going to talk about people that talk about things that people don't want to talk about, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Episode 4, next week, next Friday. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. Thank you guys for listening or watching, whatever you're watching us or listening to us on, and I'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one, guys. See ya.